Welcome to the UNT Learning Center's online workshop, Graduate School, the Guide to Getting In. In this video, we're going to have an overview of the process of applying to graduate school, as well as researching different schools and the graduate entrance exams involved in the process. The first thing you want to ask yourself is grad school for you? Graduate school involves a lot of time commitment, and you want to make sure that you have a plan going in before you begin attending school. Ask yourself why grad school and how specifically in your discipline a degree will help you achieve your personal goals. On top of that, look at your own personal timeline for finishing and see how that will fit in with the schools that you're looking at attending. Finances are an important deciding factor for many students in the process of choosing where to attend graduate school. As such, it's important to research early the cost of attending any given school. Many universities have online tuition calculators that can be used to forecast the likely cost of attending a school. If there are any questions beyond that, contact the admissions department for the school you're interested in. Just as with an undergraduate degree, be aware of potential hidden costs such as books and software you might have to purchase, lab equipment, a parking pass if commuting, housing, and non-resident tuition for public universities. On the right is a picture of the UNT Online Traditional Tuition Plan Calculator and the forecasted cost of 6 graduate hours from 2018 to 2019. Now that you know the cost of graduate school, the next important step is figuring out what kind of financial aid is available to you from that school. Though some schools may appear more expensive on the surface level, some often have great financial aid packages that can balance out the cost in the long run. Look and see what kind of scholarships or employment opportunities your schools offer. Many public universities will often have something like an in-state tuition waiver, which allows out-of-state students to pay in-state tuition prices. Also look for such positions as a research assistant, teaching assistant, graduate assistant, or teaching fellow. These positions often allow you to work in a classroom environment and can provide great work experience while you're earning your degree. Filling out the FAFSA is still a great idea as a graduate student. Even though the Pell Grant is only for undergraduate students and most loans are unsubsidized, it still opens you up to many other financial aid opportunities. Graduate school is distinct from school at the undergraduate level in that it often involves much more one-on-one time with faculty members. Because of this, it's important that your research interest and professional goals align with the university and that you get along with the faculty at any given school. Research the faculty before applying to make sure that their research interests align. Your current professors are a great resource for knowing the focus of any given school. The LinkedIn Alumni tool can also provide a window into what faculty are interested in at the current time. Additionally, make sure that the schools you're applying to offer the specific degree that you're interested in and that their experiences that will be offered to you line up with your professional goals. Now that you know where you're attending, the next step is to actually apply. In general, the application process for graduate school is more involved than that at the undergraduate level. There's more elements to the application, and there are, in general, higher expectations. But don't be discouraged. Your work at the undergraduate level has prepared you for the application process for graduate school. On the right is a general outline and suggested calendar for when you should be applying to graduate school. Essentially, before beginning your senior fall term, you should have an idea of where you're going to apply and know if grad school is right for you. If possible, taking your entrance exams before your senior fall term is a great idea. During your fall term, you're going to finalize all your application materials, such as your resume and CV, and getting your personal statement completed and getting your letters of recommendation. The most common deadline for a graduate school application is December 1st, but this can vary widely, and some schools have rolling admission all the way through the spring for admission the following fall. In the spring, you'll make your final plans for attending graduate school and submit any applications for scholarships at that school that you'll need to. Some helpful tips include not waiting to the last minute to begin applying. Thinking early about things such as your resume and your personal statement is a great idea. Read and follow the instructions very carefully. These can vary widely from school to school, and you need to be prepared for anything that the schools might have. Know your application deadlines. and follow up after you have submitted your applications. Application requirements can vary widely from school to school, but there are some common application components that are common across the board. A GPA of 3.0 or higher is generally considered the standard for graduate schools, but check with the admissions department at the schools you're applying to know for sure. If you're not meeting the 3.0 minimum, you may need to consider working on improving your GPA before applying through such resources as post-bac classes. Most applications usually have a front section which requires you to enter information such as your mailing address, education history, and work experience. While not particularly difficult, this section can be tedious, and it's a good idea to knock it out soon, especially if you're applying to multiple schools. You'll need to submit transcripts from every institution that you've attended. This includes community colleges that you may have attended during the summer. Check with your program to see whether or not you will need to submit official transcripts or unofficial ones. Official transcripts will need to originate from the university that you earn the credits from, and these often involve a time delay. You'll also need to submit a resume or curriculum vitae, CV, or living work. These should reflect any work in your undergraduate career which makes you stand out. Volunteer experience, work experience, achievements you've earned should all be included on there. Use the formatting to highlight what is relevant and makes you stand out. Schools will often ask for a document about 2 pages long titled something like a letter of intent, statement of purpose, or personal statement. The exact focus of these can change, but it depends on the type of program and the specific school you're applying to. So make sure that you read the prompt included in the application. This is one of the most important parts of your application, so be sure to devote significant time to it and that you tailor each individual one to the university that you're applying to. It's a really good idea to have these proofread, either by a professional writer, someone in your field, such as a faculty member you know, or at the very least, friends of yours who can look over it and make sure that you're getting your point across. This is your chance to really make yourself stand out and demonstrate your writing capability. Beyond that, some schools and programs will require work samples. These should be of the highest caliber and demonstrate your specific abilities. Make sure that you don't send more than is requested and review the specific requirements that are included in the application. Additionally, entrance exam scores will often be required in the course of an application, such as from a GRE or GMAT. Be sure to review the application to see if you need to submit an official score report or if you can include unofficial scores in the application. These sometimes take some time to send to the school officially, so be sure that you start early and are aware of all deadlines. Letters of recommendation are another very important part of your application. Be sure that you're interfacing with professors now so that you'll have at least 3 professional academic resources and recommenders to call upon when you're filling out your applications. Make the job of your professors as easy as possible. Give them a copy of your CV and your personal statement if it's ready so that they are aware of how you are approaching the application process. You should ask professors that you have interfaced with to a great deal and are aware of your academic work. Finally, most applications will include an application fee. This can vary widely, and some schools don't have any application fee, but be sure that you're aware of whatever's included in the application. In addition to the general application components, there are some additional application requirements that some schools will have. An interview is one of the most common additional application elements. If you're invited to one of these interviews, come with questions to ask the faculty about the environment of the university. Also, be prepared to articulate your research interest and why you think this school in particular would be a good fit for you. For international students, your TOEFL score will likely be required. There may be others, so check with your graduate schools of interest to see if there's any unusual or additional requirements. Also be aware that in addition to the college's requirements, each individual department may have its own separate requirements. So check the website and speak with the program advisor if there's any confusion. In 2006, there was a study conducted by Appleby and Appleby, which surveyed graduate admission committee chairs and found 5 categories of mistakes that were the most common reasons why students weren't admitted to graduate school. While this particular study was looking at psychology admissions, the lessons learned from it applies to almost every discipline in the graduate school admission process. The number one reason why a student wasn't admitted was a damaging personal statement. Some things you want to avoid in your personal statement are references to mental health and excessively altruistic statements or self-revealing information. When talking about yourself, you want to make sure that you're specific and back up the statements you make with reasons and facts. Avoid using inappropriate humor or attempting to appear cute or clever. This often doesn't come off well in writing. Also, unless you're applying to a political studies or religious studies degree, avoid references to God or politics. These aren't necessarily bad, but you don't want to be judged on the basis of these issues. The second reason was harmful letters of recommendation. Make sure that you ask for letters of recommendation from professors who know you well. Importantly, you should give them a chance to say no. Also, make their lives as easy as possible. Bring them your CV and a draft of your personal statement to help them understand where you're going in this application process. Some other helpful tips include starting earlier than you think. Professors are asked to write many letters of recommendation, and they need a considerable amount of lead time to plan for writing your letter. Begin establishing relationships early, especially with professors in your major, so that you will have people to call upon later. The third most common reason why students aren't admitted to graduate school is that they have a lack of information about the program they're applying to. This goes back to when researching schools, you need to make sure that the school you're applying to matches up with your research interest and your professional goals. Make sure your personal statement does not show a generic approach to the application process, but rather that each one is tailored to the school that you're applying to and lists specific reasons why you want to study at that school and with that faculty. Number 4 is poor writing skills. Make sure all of your application materials are free of spelling and grammatical errors. You want your application materials to reflect the professionalism that you're trying to show. Number 5 are misfired attempts to impress. While flattery can be good, in your application materials you want to avoid excessive name dropping. Remember, you want your application materials to list specific reasons why you would be a good fit for this university and this program. Standardized entrance exams are often a source of stress and angst for prospective graduate students, but it doesn't have to be that way. The first question that you want to ask is whether or not you need to take an entrance exam. In general, the answer is yes, but it depends on the specific school and program. Make sure to reference your school's website to see if standardized entrance exams are required for the program you're applying to. Even if your school does require it, sometimes there are waivers available. For instance, if you earned an exceptionally high GPA in your undergrad, or you already have experience in the field or an advanced degree, such as a master's or doctorate. UNT's entrance exam policy varies widely by college and program, so make sure to look at your specific program to see if they require it. On the right, we have listed the College of Business at UNT's entrance exam policy. For the MBA program, a waiver of the GRE or GMAT will be granted for students who earned a bachelor's degree from UNT with a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or higher. A waiver of the GMAT or GRE will be considered for applicants who have already earned a doctoral professional degree, earned a master's degree with a GPA of 3.5 or higher, or graduated from the UNT Honors College with a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or higher. Which test you take is largely dependent on the kind of program you're applying to. Business schools will accept the GMAT, though they'll also accept the GRE, depending on the school. Law schools most commonly the LSAT, though there are 27 schools which are now also accepting the GRE. For a full list, see the ETS website. Medical school has traditionally used the MCAT as their standardized entrance exam, and all other schools will most commonly use the GRE as their test. If in doubt as to which test your school uses, check the department website and the application protocol to see what kind of scores you're going to need to submit for each program. The first question many students ask with standardized entrance exams is how important the actual score is. This varies widely based on the program. For some schools, it's simply entrance requirement that just needs to be checked off. For other schools, it is a strongly considered element of the application. Talk to the program and the admissions department to see how important the individual GRE score is, and if they have minimum scores, or if they simply have suggested minimum scores. In your preparation, take a full-length practice test, first of all to diagnose the areas you need to work on, but also to get yourself in the mindset of taking these longer length tests. Work up to harder questions, and use resources that are available to you for free online. Outside of law school, business school, and medical school, the GRE is the standard entrance exam for graduate school. The standard fee for taking the test is currently $205. This can change, so be sure to check the ETS website to see what the current price is. Fee reduction certificates, which reduce the fee into half, are available. You need to apply through your current institution's financial aid department. The Learning Center at UNT offers an in-person prep course to current UNT students, staff, and faculty. This course is $80, and it includes materials to prepare for the test and individualized help in preparing. We also have an online overview of the GRE available and information on resources for other tests. Check the UNT Learning website for a full list. On the right, we have a comparison between GRE and GMAT. This is most applicable to you if you are applying to a business school that accepts both the GMAT and the GRE. The biggest difference is price and also the specific focus that each test has. Look into the tests to see which one lines up most with your personal strengths and weaknesses. There are many free resources and other resources available online and in person. This is a selected list of some that are available to you. On the ETS website, you'll see that there is a practice book, a math review, and a Power Prep software, all available for free on the ETS website. Kaplan is a company that offers GRE courses. They vary in price from $500 to $2,400. The Center for Lifelong Learning at UNT offers 2 mini courses, one on the verbal reasoning section and one on the quantitative reasoning section. Magoosh is another website that offers free vocabulary help and also has help on the math section of the GRE. Khan Academy is another site that will have free help and videos to deal with concepts on the GRE. For any additional resources, again check the UNT Learning Center website or contact us. Once you've narrowed down your school selection and you're in the process of applying for schools, there are a few things you want to do. You want to make sure that you check out information online, and it's a good idea to reach out to someone involved in the program. This can be the program coordinator or advisor. It can also be a faculty member in the program that you're applying to. Make sure you have questions prepared in advance to make the conversation go smoothly. Some potential questions could be talking about funding opportunities, such as TA positions, the acceptance rate, and for those who aren't accepted, the reasons why. A great question can be how each application component is weighted. This will give you insight into how important, for instance, GRE scores are versus the statement of purpose. You can also ask what the average GRE or any other required exam or GPA is for those who have been admitted. When asking about the program itself, some good questions can be the average amount of time to graduation and whether or not there are one-pass exit exams. For more information on specific academic requirements, the catalog of the school you're applying to can provide great insight into the actual requirements that you'll be asked to fulfill in the process of your program. Here is a list of a few other resources that can help you in your process of applying to graduate school. As we've talked about, if you need to take the GRE, the Learning Center has a preparation course available to you, as well as the Lifelong Learning Center. If you need to take the GMAT test, the College of Business offers a free day-long boot camp every semester, and the Lifelong Learning Center also offers an online course. For the LSAT, the pre-law program piloted a course in fall 2017. Check with them for more information. The Lifelong Learning Center also offers an online course in this test. If your application requires a personal statement or letter of intent, The Writing Lab is available to check your work for all UNT students. For help with your resume or CV, visit the Career Center. And if you need help with standardized exam test prep books, the Learning Center has an academic resource library available to you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this Graduate School, the Guide to Getting In online workshop. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we wish you the best of luck in your graduate school process.